Hi, my name is Lyric, and today we are going to be reacting to Rubber Soul by the Beatles. This is their sixth studio album we've reacted to. Please Please Me with the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night, Beatles for Sale, and Help. And now we're on to their sixth album, which is Rubber Soul. Absolutely immensely hyped for this album. Because the main reason I'm so hyped is because many people have been telling me that the Beatles are that they can't wait for me to get to this album and everything beyond it. That this album, as things start getting from really good to super fantastic. And I'm so hyped now that we're finally on to this half of the Beatles discography that is apparently so much better than even the first half. Cause I really like a lot of the first half songs, but apparently this half's really good. So I'm super hyped for it. We have a little description here. On Genius, it says right there. We can read the description. It says the Beatles' sixth studio album, Rubber Soul, is arguably the best album of all time. Big statement right there already. Though some may argue it's not even the best album the Beatles made. Yeah, that's how you know that pretty fucking good band. Multiple albums that people consider the best album of all time by some people. The album came to their exposure. The album came after their exposure to Bob Dylan and pot. Oh god, we're going on to the drug era of the Beatles. Maybe that's what made the second half so good, all the fucking drugs. It was only their second album to contain completely original songs, so this is their first album since. So the first one was A Hard Day's Night, and now this one contains completely original songs. Super hyped for that. The lyrical content on the album is marked more sophisticated than the previous material. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. The name Rubber Soul is a pun on soul music and shoes rubber sole. Paul once heard a critic describe the Rolling Stones as good but really plastic soul and decided to change up the expression to create a new title. Okay. Their transition from the most popular band to best band of all time began with a string of albums that may never be matched again. Woo! That's a hype ass beginning. First of all, we have to talk about the album cover here. And the album cover review. So this album cover, I mean, I like how the lettering is like a specific lettering. I feel like it brings like a certain like I don't know, like a certain like hippie 60s 70s era to it that I really like of it. We're still in the era where they all have the same haircut and everything. Uh And yeah, Ringo is the one that looks the most clueless. He has no idea what he's doing. Um, so let's get into this, baby. Uh, with the Beatles' Rubber Soul. So, starting off with track number 1, which is titled Drive My Car. And this one is lead vocals from McCartney with Lennon. And it is written by primarily written by Paul McCartney. Alright, let's get into it. Track number 1, Drive My Car. Ooh, this is a great chorus. That's like really catchy, amazing chorus. This is a super amazing chorus. I'm loving this. This is a fantastic track. Great start. Woo! I like the beep 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 beep. Ha ha! That's a little different there. I like that. Oh, this is a bro. This is already so great. I'm hype as fuck. Guitar solo is great. This is great, bro. You get me bobbing my head so much I'm losing the headphones. I'm about to say, this song does seem like it has a little bit of an innuendo. I like the beep 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 ending right there. That's really cool. Yeah, some of the annotation right here. First song, the Beatles' 1965 album, Rubber Soul, Drive My Car, reverse the traditional boy girl roles in the Beatles song, fronting a tale of a gold digger and a wannabe star who wants a man as a chauffeur for sexual services. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of innuendos there. Uh, that was a fantastic track. Super amazing ass chorus. Amazing ass chorus. That's already stuck in my head. I've listened to it once. That's fantastic. Yeah, everything about that was amazing. This is an amazing first track. Wow. Hold up, bro. Okay, it's the first track, and if this happens for like multiple tracks in a row that I always want to replay them, then I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna stop so this video isn't so long. But hold up, we replay the ting, bro. Drive my car. Let's get a replay on this, bro. Alright, so as previously stated, that was a fantastic opening to this album. I really love that song. That was fantastic. That's probably one of, if not the best opening track so far in the Beatles discography. I mean, actually, there's been some really damn good ones. Like, Help was the opener. And so was, like, Hard Day's Night. I don't care. Drive My Car, that was a fantastic opening track. And it's really getting me even more hyped for the album. So now we're on track number 2, which is Norwegian Wood, parentheses, the bird, this bird has flown. This one is lead vocals from Lennon. So, let's get into it. Track number 2, Norwegian Wood, this bird has flown. Okay, we got a real upbeat track followed by a slower track. More folk track. Norwegian Wood, what? Way more storytelling than anything in the original albums. Okay, so that was a different track, much more storytelling track. We have not had really tracks that like are storytelling here on the Beatles discography so far. So this was actually really different, and it seems to like tell the story of like a girl leading my man John on, and then going away and pretending she hadn't, Also, the bird had flown, and the Norwegian wood thing. We complained about the Norwegian wood thing. Uh, Lennon never revealed what this meant when talking about the line. Isn't so I lit a fire isn't a good Norwegian wood. Lennon never revealed what this meant, while McCartney had endorsed the notion that the spurned lover committed arson as an act of revenge. Uh, uh, that's kind of funny. But, yeah, Dry with the story of a man filled with charm, his love interest into bed. Okay. And then he got revenge in a extreme sociopathic way. Yeah, okay. Much more different track. We have not gotten any Beatles tracks like that so far. I don't know if I loved it, but it was just really different, you know. Uh, which I like. I like the differences there. So yeah. So now we're on to track number 3, which is called "You Won't See Me." This one is lead vocals from McCartney. So let's go. Track number 3, You Won't See Me. This one's longer than the other ones. Okay, now we're a bit to a bit more high tempo. I'm reading from the annotation here. This does seem to be based off a real storyline. He was with a relationship at the time that was not going well. So this actually is based on a true story. This track right here seems like. Ooh. Yeah, songwriting taking a huge jump. Alright, so we've had 3 very different tracks so far. So we had the first track, which is a super catchy song. Like, insanely catchy song. Right. That was like upbeat, and it was like, yeah. And then the second track was a slower track that was like more storytelling and had like a cool storyline that was like about the girl and the guy on. The guy burned the girl's house down. Uh, And then we have this third track, which is a bit more of a traditional Beatles song. It's a lot longer than the traditional Beatles songs. It's all right there. This is actually the longest Beatles song they had made up to this point, which is interesting. And it's also based off a true story, which actually makes it a lot more interesting than normal, traditional Beatles songs. I'm sure like some bases of the truth, but it's also very generic. But yeah, and it's also a sadder track. Cause like not about it's about a sadder topic matter. So yeah, well, really versatile of the first three tracks so far, which I've really liked. So uh, now we're on to track number 4, which is Nowhere Man with vocals from Lennon. Here we go. Nowhere Man. He's a real nowhere man, sitting in where plans for nobody. Okay, so another yeah, the songwriting is really taking a big jump here. The song can be directly related back to Lennon's life. At the time of recording the result, through those recordings, Lennon was not sure who he was as a person and a musician. This is evident by his choice of clothing, which is in comparison to Bob Dylan's and early Adolf Lennon. Norwegian wood is a good example of strong influence that Dylan had on Lennon, and explained here in Nowhere Man. Okay. Yeah, yeah, like this, like, yeah, they're making songs that actually, like, have a lot more meaning than their original, catchy love songs. Making all his nowhere plans for now. Be a bit like you and me. Yeah, songwriting's taking a huge jump. You would have never seen some shit like this in those first few Beatles albums. Okay, like this is actually super good songwriting here. Nowhere Man sitting in nowhere land, making nowhere plans for nobody. Doesn't have a point of view, knows not where he's going to. Isn't he a bit like you and me? So he's explaining all these things like this guy have like no purpose, nothing about him, you know. I mean, like, you're just completely lost in life, and then it creates saying all this, and then eventually it's just like, hey, isn't that just like you and me? And a really deep, thoughtful line there. I really like that. Is going to, isn't he a bit like Yeah, basically the answer said there, the world is at your command, you know. Having like nothing in life, you're just like, hey, you're the only one that can like control it. Wow, this is a super deep song. I like this. I'm loving this. This album's so great. I love the multiple guitar solos too. Now listening to advice or something. Like people trying to help them. More positive message here. Fantastic track. Fantastic track. Probably my first or second favorite track of the album so far. That and Drive My Car. That's one of the best written Beatles songs so far. That and like Yesterday are the two best written tracks that the Beatles have made up to this point in their career. And I'm sure there can be a lot more on this album because the songwriting, every track is taking a huge jump. I think I think that actually started a bit with the last album with like their main hit, Help and Yesterday were really well written tracks compared to their first albums, and then all the tracks are written like that in this album, which I'm super enjoying. Super enjoying. That was one of the deepest tracks on here. Had a lot of meaning and was also really catchy and good to listen to. Wasn't really a main chorus. They repeated like a verse 2 times. And you know, it had a central theme of like the Nowhere Man and stuff. But it was a fantastic track. Absolutely fantastic track. 10 out of 10. Right there. We're not 10 out of 10, but you know. So now we're on to track number 5, which is Think for Yourself. And do you know who we have here, baby? Do you know? We have the man, George Harrison, on the vocals. And he's also writing the song. Let's go, the man, the myth, the legend. Think for yourself. Let's go. This is track number 5. This instrumental is really loud compared to the vocals. Oh, this is a funky right here. Ooh, I like the way he said that line. This chorus is great. This is super, like the instrument in the background is super funky. I love the way he says that line. It's so chilling. I like that. That's goosebumps. Oh, pig. Ooh, heavy there. Once again, not a subject matter that would have been on the first few Beatles albums. The song is about, like, you know, hey, I'm not gonna be there to help you with everything. You gotta think for yourself sometimes. You know, you gotta be independent. You know, at least a different subject matter from the first few Beatles albums. This chorus is fantastic. Beatles are perfectionists of choruses, man. I love George so much, man. Fantastic track. Fantastic track. We've had 3 fantastic tracks. I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't the most massive fan of Norwegian Wood, This Burn Has Flown, and You Won't See Me. Not gonna lie to you, but we've had we're like 50%, no, over 50% so far of this has been like absolutely fantastic tracks. Fantastic, you know. Drive My Car, Nowhere Man, and Think for Yourself have been fantastic, you know. I loved that catchy ass chorus on this, and they've all been written different. There hasn't been like a single traditional Beatles song on this so far, which there's nothing wrong with traditional Beatles song. I like a lot of them, but I'm just saying, dude, it's good to not all be the same. You know, you gotta have some differences. You know, but yeah, 3 of these tracks have been fantastic. Things are some of the greatest Beatles tracks we've heard. 3 of them in the first 5 tracks. That would have been like, you know, some of like the best or second to best song on the other albums, and they're like all in the first 5 tracks here. So, assume this album doesn't fall off a cliff, this is already by far on stage to be the best Beatles album so far. I think Help is the best Beatles album so far. I think it's very beatable with the rate they're going right now. So, yeah, fantastic track by George. Loved the chorus. I love his delivery. I like George's voice. I feel like he has a different voice than Lennon and McCartney. Cause I see, obviously, they're the ones mainly doing the vocals. I hear the voices so much. I feel like hearing George's voice, I feel like it's different. And I feel like he has a nice tone to it that's like, I don't know, he's, I don't know, I like it. And I like the instrumental of the chorus as well. Everything was so great. So now we're on to track number 6, which is The Word. Lead vocals from Lennon. So let's go on to it, man. Track number 6, The Word. Ooh, bit of a different instrumental here. Love those high vocals from Lennon. Oh, this chorus right here is growing on me. Though, like the way she said the word, I love it. That's growing on me the entire track throughout the entire track. Oh, the vocals get higher as it keeps going on. Yeah, the vocals get higher as it keeps going on. This is a positive song, it's spreading love. Yeah, the chorus is getting better. I swear the chorus is getting better throughout the entire track. Fantastic track. I also found this interpretation kind of funny. Fun fact, finishing the song, Lennon and McCartney got incredibly high and scrawled the lyrics to the song on a large sheet of paper to celebrate. That's funny. I like that song. I have not much to say about it, but I really like the chorus there. I feel like it kept getting better as the track progressed. Like I wasn't crazy about the beginning, and at the end it started to really catch on to me, you know? Um, so yeah. Positive song, you know, just affirming love. Feel like that might go on me later, you know, with the chorus and stuff. So, now we're on to track number 7, which is Michelle. And this is the ending of side 1. And it's the lead vocals from McCartney. So let's go. Track number 7 is Michelle. Ooh, okay. Different instrumental for a Beatles song. My guy's speaking French, apparently. It means our words that go very well together, very, very well together. Michelle Mabel. What does that mean? I'm not reading all this. I don't know, but it sounds really great. I love slower McCartney tracks. They sound so great. I think all of the slow McCartney tracks are up there with my favorite Beatles songs. You know, like Till There Was You, I'll Follow the Sun, Yesterday. So I'm loving this. Even though I really don't understand what it means, but I'm really liking how it sounds. Michelle Mabel probably means my Michelle. Maybe, I don't know. Ooh. We're back to the more traditional love song, but this one works really well. I'm really cause I love the slower McCartney tracks. I love that Paul McCartney's vocal is so prevalent in this track. Like it's like overpowering the instruments. Cause I think he has the best vocals in Beatles from what I've heard so far. I mean, all his tracks where it's mainly his voice is just absolutely beautiful. I love you, I love you, I love you, and you understand. So is he referring to a French girl? The members of this track? Love these vocals. is a beautiful instrumental as well to go along with it. A short ass guitar solo, that was barely a guitar solo. That was a little break and talking. I'll get to you somehow until keep on playing on song. I heard them doing the German tracks in the Past Masters video. Now doing French. Didn't expect this. Didn't expect to hear the Beatles talking in 3 different languages. Beautiful track. Absolutely beautiful track. I love these types of McCartney songs. You know, with, you know, Till There Was You, I'll Follow the Sun, Yesterday, and now Michelle. Beautiful slower track. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely amazing. I loved it. I loved that. That was amazing. We've had, yeah, we're having amazing tracks on this. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 7 tracks have been like, I've loved them. And the tracks I haven't loved, I still think are good, you know. But we've had 4 that I've absolutely loved so far. And yeah, also super creative with the with the subject matter, you know, just casually talking in French in your chorus. I mean, that's a ballsy thing to do. I think it worked out well. He sounded super amazing. Yeah, it was a more traditional love song, but obviously with a more twist on it and with Paul McCartney beautiful ass vocals. So yeah. So now we're on to track number 8. Starting off side number 2. That was a beautiful way to end out side 1. Side 1, fantastic. Mwah. Fantastic side 1. Let's see if side 2 holds up. So, track number 8, the beginning of side 2, is What Goes On with the Man, the Myth, the Legend, on the vocals, Ringo. On the vocals, Ringo. It's not, and it's also partly written by Ringo. He was co-wrote the song. It's written by Lennon, McCartney, and Ringo. So, yeah, let's go, baby. What goes on? More upbeat from the, you know, more slower last track. More traditional love song here. This is a fantastic. I like the guitar. I love this instrumental with the Ringo vocals. Ringo's not a bad vocalist, man. He has good vocals. Good chorus. Okay, so that was more of a traditional Beatles song. You know, it seems like something would be on the first few albums. It was a good, cool, good, catchy chorus. I like the chorus a lot. You know, Ringo always brings a certain charm with him with the vocals. So yeah, I like that track. What didn't love it, but I did really like that track. Not much to say about it though. So now we're on track number 9, which is Girl. Very simple title for a Beatles song. You'd expect. I'm surprised I haven't used earlier. And this one is lead vocals from Lennon. So let's go. Track number 9, Girl.
Is there anybody going to listen to
Woo!
my story?
This is very interesting. We barely have heard very slow Lennon vocals that are like, you know, this sounds like the instrumental. I like how I'm making the whole breakdown. I've heard like 2 seconds of the track, but what I've heard of beginning, you know, the slower, you know, quieter instrumental, you know, where like the vocal takes the main frame. We haven't heard Lennon many in these situations before. If you've heard like Paul, so kind of like in Michelle. So I'm really curious. His vocal actually sounded really good. So I'm hoping we get some really good vocals here from Lennon.
Anybody going to listen to my story? All about still you don't regret a single day.
These are beautiful vocals from Lennon.
Promises the earth to me, and I believe.
This is a really beautiful track from Lennon here. I haven't heard him in this situation, and he's doing a really good job.
Down when friends are there, you feel a fool.
It's really silly.
When you say she's looking good, she acts as if
Ooh, different instrumental here at the end. Okay, so that was a slower Lennon track once again. But yeah, he really did a good job, you know. That was really beautiful. He had amazing vocals. So right back, we barely heard him in that situation. And he did a fantastic job. Really good vocals there. Yeah, it was a beautiful track, you know. Uh, from we hadn't heard him in the situation before. So now we're going to track number 10. Which is called I'm Looking Through You. Vocals from McCartney. I didn't have much to say about the last one. Track number 10, I'm Looking Through You. I believe that Try 2 is a little bit letting down compared to side 1 so far. A little bit. Ooh. Oh, okay. This song just hit a really different, you know. It started off, you know, like this, you know, just casually. What was that at the end? I really like that. What was that? When he says, when I'm looking through, you're not the same. Right here. Ooh. What is this? Woohoo. The ending to those verses right there, oh my god. With that instrumental. This album is a lot more depressing. We've had a lot more sadder love songs compared to the more happy love songs we got in the first few. The first became more depressing as the Beatles discography goes on. Ooh, I like the ending part here. Okay, so that was I'm Looking Through You. I actually really like that song. I like the yeah, it was a song about, I'm looking through you, saying that his lover has changed, which also in the annotation is referring to the same girl, his feeling relationship that he was going through based on a true story that we had all the way back here in, You Won't See Me. So in life, we're keeping the continuity. He's talking about his life more, actual, like, things that are based off real events, just microphone and bad. But, yeah, basing it off, real events, I feel like it was a good song. Um, So I do think side 2 has been worse than side 1 though, even though it's been good, but it has been on the same level of like I fucking was loving side 1. So let's see if that changes though. With track number 11, In My Life. Lead vocals here from Lennon. So, let's go. In My Life. Once we get through with the ad blocker. Once we get through. Okay, here we go. Ooh. Slower track. Okay. I haven't heard much sound like this.
Places I remember.
Ooh, I like this is beautiful right here. Those are beautiful Lennon vocals there. Ooh. This is a good track. So I like these yeah, the Lennon's having some beautiful vocal. I feel like Lennon stepped up his vocal game. You heard me say that Paul McCartney comment. Lennon stepping up his vocal game this album, We haven't had he hasn't been yelling into the mic, which I do like the rock songs by the Beatles made, but this whole album is slower, more, more like this, Oh, but I really like this chorus, it's really well written. Just talking about his entire life, and then at the end, just the title of the song, In My Life, I've loved them all, Uh, yeah, this is a really good track.
There is no one compares with you.
Ah,
And these memories
Then I like the switch in the mist track. Talking about just his entire life, how he loves, looking back at his life, and then it switches to a love song,
compares with you, and these memories lose their meaning. I love you more.
I love that beautiful last line on the chorus. A piano solo. We have not gotten this in the Beatles track so far. Hell no. This is really different.
Oh, I know I'll never lose affection in my life.
Ooh.
Love you more.
Fantastic how he said that last line though. That high ass vocal. That was beautiful. Wow, great track. Okay. Yeah, that kind of saved side 2 so far. That was a really good track. That was a beautiful track on so many levels. Beautiful vocals, really well written. With the way it switches mid-track to talking about becoming more of a love song, talking about his entire life, of all the things, people and things that went before. I know all the type of things about them in my life, and I love the way he says the line "in my life." The title of the song, and then I really like how he said that last line with that super high pitched vocal. Yeah, beautiful song. Yeah, beautiful song right there. So now we're on to track number 12, which is called Wait. And this one is lead vocals from, this is track number, that's track number 12. And this is lead vocals from Lennon and McCartney. So let's go. Track number 12, Wait.
It's been a long time. Now I'm coming back home. Wait till I come back to your side.
Now this is the most upbeat track on the album so far. Maybe than drive my car.
Don't wait, turn me away, and if your heart back to your side, we'll forget the
This is a real big change of pace from the last track.
feel as though you ought to know that I've been good as I've been
Ooh, great ending. I like the ending of that track. I wasn't crazy about that track. Is by far, I think it was like that and Drive My Car were the most upbeat tracks in this whole album. Big swing to pace from In My Life. I wasn't the biggest fan of it though. I do still feel like side 2 has really been not as good as side 1. It's kind of disappointing me so far, other than In My Life. Um, you know, uh, so I don't know, man. But maybe. But okay, I'm gonna make this clear. I liked side 2, okay? Um, but I feel like I have really high expectations from side 1. I feel like the side 1s typically in Beatles albums have been like like better than the side 2s. I don't know. Maybe I don't know something about them. They just like do really well on side 1. Side 2, it kind of falls off a little bit. Uh, but let's see how they're gonna end this. With the 2 last tracks here, because we're on the penultimate track, track number 13. If I Needed Someone, with the lead vocals from the man, the myth, the legend, George Harrison, and he wrote the track. Not only does he get 2 tracks on this album, but he also gets 2 tracks that he wrote on this album, which you love to see. You love to see. So, track number 13, If I Needed Someone.
But I'd be thinking of
We've got a lot of traditional
if I
love songs in the second half.
if I had some more.
Okay, I wasn't the hugest fan of that track, not gonna lie to you. I don't know. I feel like we've gotten a lot less deep on the a lot less complex and deep on the second half of the album. Other than like In My Life, I'm looking through. You had some elements of that. It had Girl had some elements of that, but I feel like none of the tracks have been on the level, apart from maybe In My Life, of the first half of the album. You know. Um. So I do feel like, I mean, this first half was absolutely fantastic. I loved like so much of it. Let's see. But I felt that way about Help last time. But then we had Yesterday as the final track, and it fucking banged. Well, second to last track. Um, but let's see how they're gonna end this off. Run for Your Life. Lead vocals from Lennon. You know, sometimes you can excuse a a bit of a fall off in the second half if you have a super good finale. So let's see if Run for Your Life. Let's see how it goes. Ending track.
You better keep your head, little girl.
Once again with a little girl. We discussed this last video.
And to be with another man. You better keep your head, little girl. I wanna know where I am.
Lennon has a bunch of these revengeful tracks. He seems like a way more vengeful. Like he has a bunch of songs about like, hey, you better not do this, you know. I'm gonna fucking, like I'll cry instead. He had a track, what was that? I forgot what track it was of the singles reacted to, but yeah, like this.
You better keep your head, little girl. I wanna know where I am. You better run for your life if you can, little girl. Hide your head in the sand, little girl.
Ooh, I like this chorus. Okay.
And that's the end, little girl.
I like this chorus. Ooh, the guitar. I like this verse right here. John, I'm gonna play it I know, a bit of a psychopath. Okay, okay. Yeah, this is a good finale. This is a real good finale. Okay, yeah, this is making up for it. Damn. Love the chorus. Alright, so that is the end of Run for Your Life, and that's the end of Rubber Soul. I actually really do like that last track. Apparently Lennon really doesn't like it. I saw from annotation. This is actually his least favorite Beatles song, period. Don't know how. It's a really good song. I like that one. A bit of an abusive relationship in it. But I mean, it sounded really good. I think it was like kind of meant to be like that. It was talking about here. He admits saying he was a wicked guy. I don't know, but so Rubber Soul. Okay. The first half of this album, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Drive My Car, Nowhere Man, Think for Yourself, and Michelle. Mwah. Chef's kiss songs, okay. But this second half had two songs that I really like. I like Run For Your Life and I like In My Life. Ironically. But everything else is a bit shaky. I don't know if I really liked it, if I needed someone to wait. Looking Through You was, and Girl, I guess were decent. What Goes On, I mean, there were no, like, actively bad tracks, obviously, because it's the fucking Beatles. I don't think we've ever made, like, a super, like a song, I'm like, oh, that's really bad, you know. But I feel like this first half really carried this album. Okay. I think I'm a bit underselling it because I think yes, I think this is definitely the best Beatles album so far. Let's be real here. This is definitely the best Beatles album so far because the songwriting, massive jump in this album. Massive jump. Like, it's not even close compared to any other albums, you know. Um, but, and, I feel like we made huge jumps here, right? But I feel like there was a bit of missed potential inside too. But I'm hoping that gets resolved in the next album. But for now, we have made the insane jump in songwriting that I think is essential for the Beatles. And we had amazing tracks in here. The highs in this album were super high. Drive My Car, Nowhere Man, Think For Yourself, Michelle, In My Life, and Run For Your Life, I think were all amazing tracks. So that's like what? Because the Help had three really amazing tracks and a bunch of like good tracks, right? And that was my favorite Beatles album. This album has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 amazing tracks out of 14. Now, to be fair, there's 8 tracks in here that I think are just good. You know, not like great. So I don't know if I would agree with this being the greatest album of all time or anything. I think that's a big overreaction. But I do think it's the best Beatles album so far because of those amazing tracks. And maybe if I get a real listen, I'll appreciate some tracks more, like them more. Maybe I'll like it less. I don't know. You'll see in the next Beatles reaction if I have a big change of opinion. I normally say it in the next video. Like how didn't really create about 8 days a week. And but then I've been really liking that song. So yeah, so that's the end of Rubber Soul by the Beatles. Fantastic album. Um, and yeah, so the next album I'm gonna react to is what is it? Oh yeah, it's Revolver, by the Beatles. And oh, that one is really hyped up. So I'm super hyped to get to that. And yeah, so subscribe if you want to get the notification for that, and other Beatles reactions or any other content you want to see from me. And yeah, make sure to like this video to make sure I know that you specifically like the Beatles reactions, so you know I want to do more of these specifically. Um, and yeah, bye.